Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Elddis Signature 150, which is exclusive to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. So as we start the walk round on the driver's side of the vehicle, the first point you get to is your waste water drain off valve. So anything you've put down a sink, plug hole, all goes into here, and you simply open and drain off. And obviously in the winter you'd want to drain this off, otherwise the water will freeze underneath the vehicle, which is not something you want. So normally you drive over a motorhome service bay and allow your grey waste to drain off. Then you've got your toilet, so all your lockers open with a tri-mark key, which is the flip one, and then that does your door and that does your water. So your toilet, make sure the blade is closed on the inside bowl, and you'll be able to lift and get the cassette out. Got some handle and some wheels there so you can drag it when it's heavy to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your toilet block. You'd remove the grey cap, press the orange button and tip out. Once you've tipped it out, if you put some water in, there's normally a tap there, put some water in, give it a rinse and tip out again. Then if you're using the liquid form of chemical, a cap full into here, or if you're using the new form, which is a tablet, you pull the blade back, open the blade, put a pint of water in, and then drop the sachet, which is the tablet, into the toilet, and it's ready to go back into the vehicle. And obviously once it clicks back down, it's good to be used. From further back, you've got your two fridge vents. Then at the back here, you've got your mains hookup point. So to hook the vehicle up, you'd get your hookup lead. You'd just allow the lead to go through the groove here. Hook it up, and you'll notice underneath you've got a 3-pin plug when hooked up. So if you wanted power in your awning, get an extension, chuck it underneath the van, and you've got power on the other side. You've got your leisure battery here, which is a 95 amp 12 volt leisure battery, and then underneath you'll notice you've got your flue for your boiler and water heater. Come round to the back, you've got your high level brake light, reverse camera, and then you've got your 2 wheels where you can put a bike rack on. So this is where Elddis have strengthened the back panel for a bike rack. And you've got your external shower, so it's a cold water feed, and it's just like connecting the hose pipe. So on the other end of the hose you've got a trigger gun, which is just a cold water feed, but you need to make sure that the pump is on inside the vehicle for this to work. And then here obviously opens with a little key, is your fresh water intake. So get a hose pipe, put your hose pipe in there until it overflows, or until you're happy there's enough water on board, which you can see on the main control panel. And then this is just the storage, so obviously the carpet's in there, but this is the storage underneath the island bed on the 150. So there's plenty of storage underneath there. And then coming round, you've got your LPG locker, so this is your gas locker. And you can fit 2 6-kilogram bottles in there. What you'll want to do is, when the bottle's in there, use the strap and tie the bottle in. And then to get the pigtail onto the bottle, it's a left hand thread, so opposite threads with it being gas. Hand tighten, no need for a spanner, and then you can turn on and off from the top of the bottle. Obviously turn it off when you travel, and then you can turn it on when you get onto your site. If you wanted to drain contaminated water, or you're finished for the season, or you've stand the vehicle up for a couple of weeks, this is your fresh water drain. So you just let the water out. And obviously in the winter it's very important that you drain it down to stop any frost damage. So that's where you drain your fresh water off. And then just here you've got your external gas point. So if you wanted it for a Caddock or an external awning heater, there's a little spigot here which connects on there, so you just need to cut that off with some snips or some scissors. That connects to there. You'll need some gas hosing and some Jubilee clips to connect it to your gas device, and then you turn on and off here, and it'll use the bottle on the back of the vehicle instead of carrying the spare. Come to the door, you've got your fuel, which opens with the main ignition key, and you've got AdBlue. Because the new Euro 6D compliant engine, the AdBlue tank's 19 litres. It'll come on between the fuel and the temperature gauge when it needs AdBlue. Simply top it up as soon as it does come on, otherwise the vehicle can go into limp mode or fail to start. but if you just top it up from, you can buy it on the pumps, or you can buy it in the barrels and top it up and just keep one inside the vehicle. Opening the door, on the slam panel there you've got the tyre pressure, so 5 bar on the front which is 72.3 psi and 5.5 bar on the back which is 79.5 psi. You've got a toolkit underneath the passenger seat which includes a jack and a brace and a torn iron, so this cover lifts off and that slides out, and underneath the floor you've got the engine battery. Bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard, so if we have a quick look underneath the bonnet. So to the left hand side you've got all your fluids, so you've got your screen wash, this lifts off, and you've got your power steering and your radiator coolant. Got your brake fluid, then you've got your oil and your oil dipstick. Obviously your paint codes here for the AdBlue, which is this little chrome sticker here. And then should you be wanting to jump start the vehicle, you'd go earth off here and just put the key there, lift it up, and then you'd earth off here. And then just here is your weight plate, so it's 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight, so anyone can drive it on a standard car license. If you were to put a tow bar on and want to tow with it, you can tow an extra 2 ton behind the motorhome, which means you can't exceed 5.5 ton. So once inside the vehicle, next to the habitation door, you've got your main 12 volt control panel. Obviously if you are hooked up, you'll have mains 240 volt, which will work a 3-pin plug. If not, you will just have 12 volt if you're not hooked up. So you've got your master switch here, which turns the master switch on for the battery, so the 12 volt or the 240. You've got your pump, so should you be using taps, toilet, external shower, you've got to have this on to pressurize the water. And then underneath you've got your master switch for all your interior lights, which are then all individually switched around the vehicle. And here you've got your awning light, which is above the habitation door. On here you've got your battery, which is your leisure battery reading, which is showing fully charged, but obviously if you take the hookup out it'll give a true reading. And you've got your main fresh water, which is showing full as well. You've got your light, which is the light above the front area there, so front lockers. And then below you've got your wheel hot water and heating system. So at the top you've got hot water, at the bottom you've got heating. So it depends on what you want on. So if you wanted heating on, so 1 kilowatt is, one wiggly line is 1 kilowatt of electric, depending on what the site gives you amperage wise. Then you've got 2 wiggly lines, which is 2 kilowatts of electric, which you can use on most sites throughout the UK. You've got the gas flame on its own, which if you were wild camping and you weren't hooked up, you'd be running everything off your gas, so you'd be heating your water off your gas, which is the gas flame. You've got gas and 1 kilowatt, or you've got gas and 2. Gas and 2 kilowatts would be used if you are in desperate need of water, as 2 sources together will reduce the time it takes to heat the water. And then below you've got the same for the heating, so 1 kilowatt of electric, so which you'd use on a smaller CL site and abroad. 2 kilowatts of electric, 3 kilowatts of electric, gas on its own if you're wild camping, gas and 2 kilowatts if you are away in the winter and you're in desperate need of heating the vehicle up. Obviously 2 sources together will take about 10 minutes to heat the vehicle up. And then you've got plus and a minus, so middle's about 15 degrees, all the way at the top is 30 degrees of heating the vehicle up. Should you get a warning triangle on the side here, what you need to do is whatever's failed, say it was the hot water, you'd press the hot water and the plus button together, press and hold until that light goes out, or if it was the heating, it would be the heating and the plus button together. But what you've got to do is, before turning the master switch off or starting the engine, if you just turn it so it's showing no lights in the middle here, so it's not on any source, allow the fans to fall silent. Once they fall silent, you can turn them master switch off or start the engine. Otherwise you can jolt the boiler, which means you'd have to reset the panel each time. So in the kitchen area you've got 3 lit gas rings there, and then at the back you've got an electric hot plate on mains electric only, so if you are hooked up you might not want to waste your gas, you might want to use your hot plate. And then below you've got the grill, and below the grill you've got a full size oven like so. Got storage underneath the oven, which is where you've got a gas isolation tap and the plug at the back for your electric hot plate. You've got storage throughout, so drawers. And another cupboard. And to this side is where your freestanding table lives, so you can have it at the front or you can have it outside if it's a nice day. And above you've got your Russell Hobbs mains electric microwave only, so this is 12 volt, you've got to be hooked up for this to work. And then in here you've obviously got your isolation plug for your microwave, should ever need to be replaced. And then you've got a cup rack and a plate rack. To operate your windows, you just open and turn the black wheel here to keep the stay on the window out. Like so. Loosen it off to bring the window in. Make sure all skylights and windows are shut before travelling. You've got a fly screen and a blackout blind. And then across from the kitchen you've got your Dometic fridge with freezer compartment. So you've got travel locks on here which you can lock when travelling, so you pull them back to open the door. You turn on and off here if you just press and hold. It's a flush panel, so that's it off, that's it on. Press mode, it'll change it so you can have it on automatic. And automatic, so the brain of the fridge chooses what best sauce you have on offer. So at the moment we're hooked up, but yet we have gas on and it's went to the hookup because you'll not want to waste your gas. Should I take the hookup out now, it'll go on to the gas, and then should I start the engine, it would go on to 12 volt, which is designed to keep the temperature the same as it currently was at. So if you're lucky enough to keep it at home, hook it up a day or two before you go away, put your shopping in the night before, leave it on mains, that'll all chill overnight. Then when you're ready, if it's on automatic, as soon as you start the engine it'll get a 12 volt feed from the alternator. If not, you can manually change it over by just pressing mode. So there it's gone down to battery and it's failed because the engine's not running. Or you can self-ignite it on gas. Do take in mind that on automatic it takes 20 minutes to light on gas as a safety feature. So you'd have to manually put it on to gas if you're wild camping, and then you could switch it back onto auto after 20 minutes. And then you've got your temperature here, so 5, you'd probably want it on 5 when pre-chilling it with no shopping in. And when you do get shopping in, you probably want to turn it down, as 5 can potentially freeze what's in the fridge. Pull these catches forward and we will open the door, and you've got a freezer box and fridge. And then when you finish with it for the season and you're winterising the vehicle, or you're not using it for a couple of months, clean your fridge out and just leave your door open, as it allows air circulation in and out the fridge. It wouldn't cause any mould or bacteria in there. And above you've got your solar panel, so charging battery 1, which is your leisure battery there, so it does its own thing. Green light means it's fully charged. And underneath you've got storage. Coming into the bedroom area, got a vanity unit there, a mirror, light switch for above there, and obviously telly points if you wanted to put telly on here on a bracket or stand on the ledge. And you've got a folding door, so it folds round the bed, and obviously there's another few gas taps in there, so they are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. Got hanging space, wardrobes to both sides, and in here's your TV aerial. So when travelling you always need to make sure that the stem of the aerial is pulled down and the nut is securely tightened. You can min and max the signal on the booster at the back here, should it be getting too strong or too weak of a signal. But if you're struggling for a signal, if you just loosen the nut, push the stem up use the black collar to adjust the positioning of the aerial, but I would advise looking to see where your other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site and point those into a similar direction, and you should get a decent enough signal. The little reading lights are individually switched, so as long as you've got your master switch on the control panel for the lights to work, they'll all work. You've got another hanging rail down there, and then the skylight above the bed. What you need to do is just pull your weight down on it and slide it along. Make sure it's shut before you travel, and you do have a fly screen and a blackout blind. Got a sensor there for your alarm, and then an extractor fan so you can open the hatch, press it. You've got 6 settings each way for bringing air in or extracting air when you're cooking. So just keep your finger on, like so, and obviously you can go the other way, and then on an evening you've got a blind. Bed at the back, so you've got 2 positions with the bed. So underneath, this is pulled out as far as it will go, which is the nighttime position, but as you can see with the nighttime position it's quite tight, so during the day what you might want to do is just push this in, push the mattress back, and you've got a little bit more space to get round to the bed. In the front lounge here you've got storage above cupboards, got a large skylight so to pinch the blinds. You've got a fly screen and blackout blind. If you pinch the clip it departs the 2, and then you just open this like a window, pull the bar down, push it up, and then this bar can sit in these 2 clips here. So if you pull it down onto there, you can then use the black tabs to keep that, and that's the skylight secure so the wind won't catch it. But obviously if it is windy, don't use it. Underneath the bed is where you'll find your fuse board. So you've got your mains, trips on electrics, your 12-volt fuses, which I would carry some spare blade fuses just to be safe. And as this is a signature model, we've fitted tank heaters, so if it's going to potentially freeze overnight, if you put these on, it'll put some current through the water to stop them freezing. So underneath both lounge seats at the back on the 150, you've got, as it's a 4-berth, it's got 4 belts, but the 2 belts, other 2 seats are hidden away. So if you take the cushions off, lift it up, what you'll want to do is there's 2 little chrome catches. Lift the board up slightly, push them in, slide it back, make sure that clips back, and then to assemble the seat you've got 2 levers. You've got a lever here for the bottom and a lever here for the headrest. So you just need to have a play about, use the levers, and then what you'll need to do is the seats need to clip on to these little lugs like so, and you'll notice you've got Isofix points on this model as it's a new 2021 model, and you've got the same the other side, so you've got 2 travelling seats there as it's a 4-berth 4-belt. To open the skylight at the front, so it's just a windy one, you just wind it open. Obviously just because it's above the cab doesn't mean you can have it open when travelling, so close it, and then you do have at the front blackout blind and a fly screen for when it's open. You'll notice you've got a carbon monoxide smoke alarm here as well, and then to this side you've got storage, a little bit of storage above. You've got a telly bracket and some telly points if you're going to fit a TV. To swivel your seats, so turn them round, just watch the curtains. What you'll need to do is pull this lever out, slide the seat round. If it was to get stuck anywhere, just pull the bar on the front like you're just in your driving position, and it'll spin into the rear. Now in the cab, to the right of the driver you have your handbrake. which is just down here. So your handbrake's just there. Then on the door, you have electric mirrors at the front and electric windows. So you have 2 adjustments on the joystick so you've got the big mirror and the bottom one, which is the blind spot. And then to black the cab windows out, so you've got ceramic car blinds. So if you pinch, slide out there, that'll black the passenger and driver. And then what you need to do is pull both out here. Because this model's got automatic lights, there's a sensor in the windscreen. So what you need to do is, there's a little lug on there, it needs to go into here. So you need to just feed that in there, and then they clip together with magnets. If it's going to be a windy night, I'd advise putting something around here like a hair bubble or a plastic band, just to stop it from popping open during the night with the wind. And then down here you've got obviously your rear fogs, turns your stop start off, and your headlight adjustment. You've got your wipers with your trip computer on the end, which will tell you your range, your instant and average consumption, and so on. You've got your steering wheel control, so answering a call, this will scroll through your media, your radio channels, and so on. Volume and mute. Headlights on, off, and on automatic. I'll just leave them on automatic. And then underneath you've got cruise control at the top, so off in the middle, cruise control, get your desired speed and push up. And obviously you can accelerate and decelerate from here. If you were to brake, you can resume it here, or you can cancel and resume. But as soon as you turn the engine off, you'll have to reset the cruise control. And then underneath you've got speed limiter, so if you push up slowly it'll go up in 1s, if you push and hold it'll go up in 5s. 6-speed manual gearbox, lift the collar into reverse, which when the engine started it'll bring on your rear view camera, but this works all the time, even when going forward. ESR off is just another word for anti-slip relief, so it's turning your traction control off. Got hazards, and then this button here locks the cab doors on an evening. You will have to manually lock the habitation door. Heated mirrors, USB for charging, 12 volt for charging. There's an auxiliary and a USB here. Got a glove box there and a heated and cooled glove box here via the air conditioning. And to work the air conditioning, so you've got your temperature, so hot or cold. Fan speed must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work, which is this button here. Then you do have your distribution, so where you want the air to go to. And finally your circulation, so whether you're recirculating air within the vehicle or you're bringing fresh air in. Your radio, you've got radio, so you just find your favourite radio stations and press 1 to 6 on DAB, FM or AM. Media is obviously USB, Bluetooth audio. And to pair a phone, you'd press phone, pair, add a phone, and then you want to find my car on your device. Make sure the pins match, and then it'll ask you if you want to pair, and then it'll ask you if you want to sync your contacts. Just press allow and it'll download your phone book, and whoever rings, it'll come up with a name and a number instead of just a name if they're not, instead of just a number if they're not saved. So you'll be able to scroll through your contacts from the head unit itself. And above you've got a phone holder and a clipboard, so if you just pull from the back, pull this little toggle out, you can put your phone in there and then lock it so it'll not move, or sat nav, whatever you're going to use. Or you can have a paper clip there and put a map in should you need to.